This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Let's talk a little Canes.
Call the naked carpet man.
No, that's Don Bailey, the naked carpet man. I mean, what's going on here, bro?
How you doing, brother?
Are you looking for flooring? Well, call the naked carpet man.
There you go.
The naked carpet man.
Only here you can have Don Bailey drops, okay?
You call him Jacori, I'll call him Jascori.
There you go.
There you go, yep.
Makes me want to lose my lunch. On the crack.
Oh, I love it when you're on the crack. It's a beautiful thing.
Rent a cow.
Yeah, there you go. Rent a cow. That's what it's all about.
When you want something super, just call on Cooper.
There you go.
Some classics there, Big O.
Oh, I got tons. I was trying to have some fun because the first time Ryan Tannehill practiced, right? And I was never a Tannehill believer right from the draft. I said,
right,
this is reach, Jeff Ireland gave him a second-round grade in the draft. Oof. I've never released that. I've never told that story. Jeff Ireland's draft grade was second round. Anyway, so I was trying to find the soundbite because he has the first week of practice, okay? And first day of practice. And you know what they always do at the first day of practice, right? He goes over to go sign autographs, right? They all do it, right? And they're all signing the autographs and the kids and all that. So I go over there as a curious reporter and I put my mic out there so I could get the interaction between the new player and the fans, the kind of shit that we have to do at times for the ambiance of the story and all that. So in one of those, right, I hear one of the fans say, "Damn, I'm so glad we got him. He's going to be the one." And I have it somewhere. I'm paraphrasing, but I have it somewhere, and I'm trying to find that soundbite because I said, one day I want to use that soundbite, and we were talking about something, and I remembered, and I've been trying to fish through it.
Gotcha.
And so as I'm going through it, and now you come up, there was Don Bailey soundbites right there, and I go, oh well, what the hell? Let's have a little with some Don Bailey. I mean, I mean, come on.
On the crack.
I mean, when can you get Don Bailey say on the crack? I mean,
Well, it is summertime, brother. It is that it feels like this long gap, right? I mean, obviously the Panthers and Heat are doing great, but long time before we get on the football field again.
I was thinking about this, okay? And you have a nice long history of South Florida sports like I do. Okay? Is this the greatest 4-year run by a coach in any sport in South Florida history with less? That's the caveat. Okay, because obviously the big three brought to championships. I can go back to the Canes football teams in 83, 85, that 4-year stretch, 87, 91, that 4-year stretch. I can do that, and those are more impressive because they end up with championships. But you were supposed to have championships because your teams were loaded in those years, or just like the Heat, you're supposed to win a championship or 2 or 3 because you have one of the best teams in the NBA. Or the Dolphins back in the early 70s with a couple. Of course, those are more impressive because they end up in championships. But the caveat to all of this is, has any coach in South Florida history done more with less in a 4-year stretch than Eric Spoelstra?
I don't think you'll find an example. I mean, getting to the finals in the bubble last year. Getting to the finals again. Nobody's done that with less. But I will say, obviously, this team shouldn't have been an 8 seed. I think we can all say that we're probably more top 4, top 5 in the East. I think the fact that they finished 8th was more a product of injuries and them just not caring. It felt like for a big part of the season.
Jimmy couldn't play a whole season. He can't play 75, 78 games. And so if he can, you're going to lose some games too. So
Right. But yeah, you're right. I mean, this is as impressive a run I think as any coach has had. consistently here with guys that you would say none of which are in the top 10 in the league, right? Like Jimmy Butler's probably outside the top 10 list of best players in the NBA.
Stars for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Bam, I would say, is probably maybe in the next 20 after the top 20, maybe the next 20.
Yeah, and to me, he's not really a star. He's really a super role player is the kind of way I look at him. I don't look at him as a star. Stars have to carry you, bro, offensively in this league. And that's my problem with Bam. Caleb's the one that might be turning into a little
He
star.
might be kind of a Kawhi Leonard type story, right? Where all of a sudden he turns into a stud, or even a Jimmy Butler, right? Because Jimmy Butler was kind of the same way the first few years in Chicago. So maybe he's sort of another Jimmy Butler type. But yeah, it's a great story. And look, Gabe Vincent as well. I mean, I think he's been phenomenal. I think Gabe Vincent's gotten himself a nice payday. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to line up to get that guy this offseason because he's a quality NBA starting point guard. I would say he's probably top 15 in the league with the way he shoots the three now. So, but that's player development. And
think about this. Because I've mentioned this a couple times. The Sixers, the Nets, the Hawks, the Pelicans, the Blazers, the Suns. These are all teams that have had 2 stars, maybe even more, and they can't get to the finals twice in 4 years and 3 conference finals, whether you're in the West or the East. With more talent, all of those teams have more talent. Hell, Philadelphia one year also had Jimmy and can't do it. So even with Embiid and all those guys, and Embiid is a top, 5, 7 star in the league? You know what I'm saying? And they can't get to that many conference finals or NBA finals with the amount of talent that the Miami Heat have. That is so impressive. Jesus Christ.
I think what permeates from my experience of being around them for 3 full years after the LeBron years is the fact that Eric and Pat always the confidence that they have in their guys, it bleeds right through them. All of those guys, when they play for the Heat, believe that they can get the job done. And it doesn't matter the circumstance, right? Like you always hear Eric when regular season games. I remember him saying it all the time. Somebody would be out. We have enough. And that night they'd go out and they'd win. And the reality is, I mean, all of these dudes are in the NBA. They're all quality players. It's can you get them to perform on a stage like this? And that's the gift of Spoelstra, is that he prepares these guys for those moments in the regular season, right? I mean, you go back and you look at Caleb Martin during the regular season, he had some 20-point games. It's not like he didn't score. So you build that confidence within guys in the regular season, and then you put him in the playoffs in a situation like this, and he's ready for it. So kudos to the Heat. Most NBA teams don't spend a lot of time doing that. They don't do that in the regular season. I think if you can learn one thing about this Heat team, it's they'll get guys ready for the playoffs.
Hell yeah, I'm with you there. All right, Canes wise, what's been developing here in the last couple of days on the recruiting side?
Well, they did add somebody to the roster who's a veteran, Lou Cristobal. It might be a familiar name to you, Big O. I don't know if you recognize the last name there, but he started 5 games last year at Georgia State. He's only 6 foot, about 275 pounds, 280 pounds.
He's 6 foot?
He's 6 foot. Yes, he is 6 foot.
I thought I might have, like, I thought I was like, where's the inches? Like, did I not hear it?
No,
okay. All right.
I don't think Mom is a very tall woman. I think he kind of fell between Dad and Mom, because we know Mario and Big Lou are big individuals. I guess they married short wives or something. But he's not very tall, but he is an interior lineman. He's tough. He's got that Cristobal attitude. I think he comes in and he'll be a nice backup at center or guard, somebody you can put in the game. Look, we know injuries happen.
Do they have a fullback in this offense?
They do not. They will not, because they'll be in the air raid quite a bit. I doubt there'll be many circumstances. But you need depth, right? You win with depth. He's a fifth-year guy. He's got starting experience. He's part of the Cristobal bloodline. And I think he gets to go to school for free because his uncle's on staff. I don't think it counts as a scholarship for Miami. So I think for everybody who's worried about those kind of things, he's on scholarship at Miami, but not one of the 85.
Mario makes a couple bucks. He can also pay for You can also pay for the kid to be there for a year tue, by the way.
Exactly. But
Some tells me they'll give Mario a discount rate also too. Give him a break on books or something.
Here's what I'll tell people who like me who grew up worrying about the 85 scholarship limit, right? Because we lived in a world when that existed and you worried. Don't worry about it anymore, baby. NIL exists and there's ways around it, and they'll figure out a way to make sure that they got 85. So I know some fans are freaking out. Oh, you're giving this 6 foot, 275-pound offensive lineman a scholarship just because he's Cristobal? No. There's Mario figure out the math. Don't worry about that.
What about Dalen Russell?
Good pickup. Not a huge guy either in terms of size yet. I think he's about 6'3", 265, but a starter on the Miami Columbus state championship team, probably their best lineman, if we're being honest, in terms of production and what he did. He was a player of the year in his classification. Only a 3-star, ranked in the thousands. But again, I always tell people, like, you can fall in love with the star system, or you can look at the results. He's one of those kids you can look at the results and say, yeah, he plays at a really high level against high competition. He had some good performances against quality teams that Columbus faced. And just another talented local kid that they pick up from Mario's alma mater, who I actually like better than some of the other kids they've picked up over the years from Columbus. I think this kid is he's an actual producer. He's a guy that can go out on the field and you have confidence he's going to make plays. So good pickup. And now next month, or should I say the end of this weekend, we're going to start having official visits on campus. You're going to have a lot of guys sort of cycling through. A lot of the elite players nationally will be coming through, and hopefully Mario can get a few of them to pick the Hurricanes when they announce in July.
All right. Is there a name or two that Canes fans should be focused in on that Miami really likes or really needs that's visiting?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a couple guys. I think Caleb Odom's a tight end. You talk about tight end, the tradition. He's a kid out of Georgia. I got to watch him quite a bit on the 7-on-7 back in Orlando last month. Big 6'5", 215 pounds, top 100 recruit in the country, a legitimate playmaker at that position. I think, this past season, you had Will Mallory, a fifth-year guy. This coming year, we're going to have, Jaleel Skinner. You're going to have a bunch of different dudes in there that are athletic. I think Odom is a legit elite tight end, a guy that when he gets to college, he'll put on the weight and be, first, second round type material down the road. I think that's a big name to watch. Miami's got some competition there. You got a lot of elite defensive linemen coming through. Dylan Stewart is a kid from Washington, D.C. He's a 5-star. You've got David Stone, a kid from Bradenton IMG Academy. A lot of elite defensive linemen are going to be coming through here. And I think, that's a position to really watch. It'll be interesting. I think, they're not going to get all of them, because you're coming off a 5-7 season. You're not, Georgia or Alabama or Ohio State, and those schools always get the pick of the litter. But there's certainly some really good players that Miami is at least in the battle for, that are out of town kids that'll be coming through here. And I think they're going to have a chance to pull some.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And what are you working on The Athletic so folks can subscribe and check you out?
Well, we have a lot of recruiting coverage here. As we said, June is a very busy month. I'm actually writing the SEC recruiting breakdown as we speak. I was in the middle of it. I'm looking up Mississippi State stuff and reaching out to people there. So we'll have a pretty thorough breakdown of all of the Power 5 schools, who their targets are, who their key visitors are for June. I'll have the SEC one. Grace Rayner, who works with me at The Athletic and does a great job. She covered Clemson for many years. She's handling the ACC. I gave her my Miami intel. We shared notes. So there'll be a ton of stuff that comes out here in the week ahead as far as that's concerned.
All right. As always, appreciate you, my brother. We will catch up later on in the week. Thank you, sir.
All right, brother. Take care.
You got it. There you go. Manny Navarro in our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Go visit my friends. We're going to be there tomorrow broadcasting live at Caneswear. So come on out and join us.